Hi everyone. Today I am going to discuss about the medical surgical nursing 2 for the GNM second years, and in that we are going to discuss about the unit 9, that is nursing management of patient with the musculoskeletal disorders. So in the last class we have seen about the spinal cord, spinal disc herniation. So up to the clinical manifestation we have seen about the spinal disc herniation. So spinal disc herniation means it is also known as slipped disc. So there is a prolapse, protrusion of the nucleus pulposus. It is a jelly like substance and it can be herniated up to the annulus. So it is called as spinal disc herniation. In the part 1 we have seen up to the clinical manifestation. In the part 2 we are going to discuss about the diagnostic evaluation and management. So now we will discuss about the diagnostic evaluation. So in the diagnostic evaluation, first one is neurological examination. So in the neurological examination, there is a assess the any neurological problems, like there is a if you are there is a in the neurological examination, first we can assess the inflammation and pain at the disc herniation at the affected spinal vertebrae, and we have to assess for the any inflammation or any flexibility is present or not, or movement is possible or not. In the neurological examination we have to assess for the any problems. And next one is blood test. So blood test includes the all the blood tests, CBP, WBC count, everything we can do in the blood test. So the blood test has to be done to know the spinal disc herniation, and the plain X-ray. So X-ray has to be taken to diagnose the spinal disc herniation, where the disc herniation is present, and we can identify by the X-ray. And MRI, there is a magnetic resonance imaging, it is also used to diagnose the spinal disc herniation. And CT scan also it can be used to diagnose the spinal cord herniation, other any diseases are like bone cancer. So it can be diagnosed by the MRI and CT scan. Next one is electromyogram. So in the electromyogram it can be used to diagnose the muscle, the movement of the muscular tissue. So there is a two electrodes can be placed over the skin. So by this we can record the electrical impulses of the muscle tissue. So it is about the electromyogram. Electromyogram means there is a electrodes can be placed over the skin and to record the impulses of the muscular tissue. So muscles are working in proper or not, we can diagnose by the electromyogram. And the nerve conduction velocity test. So in the nerve conduction velocity test, so it can be used to diagnose the nerve is compressed or not, it is damaged or not, we can identify by the nerve conduction velocity test. So in this velocity test there is electrodes can be placed over the nerves. So it can be used to diagnose the nerve is working properly or not. It can diagnose it by the nerve conduction velocity test. So the electrodes can be placed over the nerves and we can record the impulses of the nerves. So it can be done by the nerve conduction velocity test. Next one is myelogram. So myelogram, it can be used it is like same X-ray. So the contrast like injection is pushed into the directly into the spinal cord and to visualize the clear disc herniation. So where the herniation is present, and we can identify by the myelogram very clearly by pushing the contrast. It is an injection directly introduced into the spinal cord to know the disc herniation. So it is about the diagnostic evaluation of the spinal disc herniation, includes the neurological examination, blood test and plain X-ray, MRI, CT scan and electromyogram, nerve conduction velocity test and myelogram. Next one is management. So management is very important to relieve from the symptoms. So management, it includes the non-pharmacological modification and the pharmacological measures, and there is a surgical management and nursing management. So in the management, first we will discuss about the non-pharmacological modification. So non-pharmacological means there is a no medications can be used to reduce the pain. Non-pharmacologically means there is a no medication should be given to the patient. Without medications we can treat the disease. So non-pharmacological medications includes the rest and activity modification. So there is a complete rest can be provided to the patient. So who are affected with the herniated disc, and there is a complete rest should be provided, and activity modification. So the activity is minimum. So continuously the patient should not move, only sometimes can be able to move, and there is a minimum activity should be present in the patient, and there is a complete bed rest complete bed rest should be provided to the patient. And there is a next one is ice and heat application. So ice and heat application, there is a ice and heat application can be applied on the herniated disc. So because where the herniated disc presented, there is a inflammation and pain will be present. So there is a ice and heat application, we can relieve the symptoms like pain and inflammation by the ice and heat application. And next one is physical therapy. So physical therapy is very important to treat the spinal disc herniation. So in the physical therapy, it includes like massage. So like massage and yoga and meditation. By this physical therapy we can divert the mind of the patient and we can relieve from the symptoms. So by the physical therapy there is a improves the strengthening of the muscles by the physical therapy. So it improves the muscle strength by the physical therapy. And the next one is traction. So traction, it includes the only some of the severe cases the traction can be used by the physician. So traction means it can be supported to the herniated disc. So where the disc is presented and the traction can be used. So it is a supportive measure to support the spinal cord. So it is about the non-pharmacological modification, includes the rest and activity modification and ice and heat application, physical therapy and the traction. Next one is pharmacological measures. So in the pharmacological measures, there is a using of medications to treat the pain and there is a to treat the spinal disc herniation. So in the pharmacological measures includes the NSAIDs. So NSAIDs, there is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Example is aspirin. So aspirin and ibuprofen, these are the NSAIDs. It can be used to reduce the pain and inflammation. So it is about the NSAIDs and the oral steroid medications. So the oral steroid medications, so corticosteroids can be used to reduce the inflammation. So steroid medications can be given by orally. Example, the prednisone and the Medrol. So the prednisone and Medrol, it is the oral steroid medications. So the steroids can be used to reduce the inflammation, and the other medications includes the narcotics. So narcotics, it can be used to reduce the pain. So it can be relieve the pain from the short time period. So only for the short time period pain reliever the narcotics can be used. And the next one is epidural steroidal injection. So in the epidural steroidal injection, example is cortisone. So in the epidural steroid injection, there is a cortisone injection can be directly injected into the herniated disc or where the herniated disc is presented. The injection can be directly injected into the affected disc. So by this injection we can relieve the symptoms like the inflammation and pain, and we can decrease the pressure over the nerve root. So it is about the epidural steroidal injection. So the cortisone is one of the injection. It can be used to reduce the inflammation and pain in the herniated disc. It can be directly injected at the site of the herniated disc. So it is about the pharmacological measures. It includes the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs and the oral steroid medication, and other medications includes the narcotics and epidural steroid injection. And next one is surgical management. So in the surgical management, first one is chemonucleolysis. So in the surgical management, first one is chemonucleolysis. So in the chemonucleolysis, it is a non-surgical treatment for the bulging disc. So it is non-surgical treatment. So it is not a surgery, and that involves the injection of enzyme into the vertebral disc. So where the disc is presented and there is a injection of enzyme. So enzyme can be introduced into the vertebral disc. So by this injection we can dissolve the inner part of the disc. So inner part of the disc means there is a nucleus pulposus. So it is a jelly like substance. It can be present in the inner part of the disc. So there is a bulging can be occur because of this excess amount of the nucleus pulposus. So by this chemonucleolysis, there is a injection can be injected into the vertebral disc to dissolve the inner part of the disc, that is nucleus pulposus. So it is about the chemonucleolysis. Next one is discectomy. So in the discectomy, there is a removal of the herniated disc. So by this removal of herniated disc, we can reduce the pressure compression over the nerve root. So it is about the discectomy. Discectomy means there is a complete removal of the spinal herniated disc. So by this we can relieve the pressure over the nerve root. Next one is microdiscectomy. So in the microdiscectomy, there is a portion of the herniated disc can be removed. So in the discectomy, total herniated disc can be removed. In the microdiscectomy, only small portion of the herniated disc can be removed to relieve the pressure over the nerve root. So it is about the microdiscectomy. Next one is hemilaminectomy. So in the hemilaminectomy, there is a removal of the vertebrae. So only part of the vertebrae can be removed in the hemilaminectomy. So hemilaminectomy, lamina means there is a vertebrae. So hemilaminectomy means there is a removal of the part of the vertebrae. So by this we can reduce the compression over the nerve roots. Next one is spinal fusion. So spinal fusion, it is a welding fusion, like it is also known as welding, and the spinal fusion means the two vertebrae can be joined together and it is making into a single one. So by this we can reduce the compression over the nerve root and we can remove the herniated disc. So it is about the spinal fusion. Next one is anterior cervical discectomy. So anterior cervical discectomy and fusion. So in the anterior cervical discectomy or fusion, there is a it is anterior cervical discectomy and fusion. It includes the cervical herniated disc. So at the cervical region the disc is presented, and in this anterior cervical discectomy and fusion, there is a discectomy can be done to remove pressure over the nerve root. So by this we can relieve the pressure over the nerve root by the decompressing the spinal cord by the discectomy in the anterior cervical discectomy and fusion. So in this there is a discectomy can be performed to relieve the pressure over the nerve root and the spinal cord. So by the discectomy. And next one is artificial disc replacement. So artificial disc replacement means there is a removal of the disc herniated disc. So by the removal of herniated disc, there is a replacement of the metals or plastic devices can be used in the artificial disc replacement to support the affected spinal cord. So it is a artificial disc replacement. So artificial disc replacement means there is a removal of the herniated disc and placing the metals like devices, plastic devices or metals can be used to replace the vertebrae in the spinal cord. So it is about the surgical management, includes the chemonucleolysis. So there is a injection of enzyme can be used into the directly injected into the spinal cord to dissolve the inner part of the disc. And next one is discectomy. There is a removal of the herniated disc. So by this we can release the pressure over the nerve root. And there is a microdiscectomy. There is a small portion of the herniated disc can be removed to relieve the pressure over the nerve root. Next one is hemilaminectomy. There is a part of the vertebrae can be removed, and there is a spinal fusion. There is a two vertebrae can be joined together and making into a one, and the disc can be removed by the spinal fusion. And next one is anterior cervical discectomy and fusion. So there is a decompressing the nerve root and the spinal cord by the discectomy. And there is a artificial disc replacement. There is a removal of the herniated disc and replaced by the using the metals and devices in the spinal cord. So it is about the surgical management. And next one is dynamic stabilization. So dynamic stabilization, it can be helps the body to support the movements. So dynamic stabilization means it can be help the body to support the movements. So by the dynamic stabilization we can minimize the movement and we can support the vertebrae in the body. Next one is nucleoplasty. So nucleoplasty, it is also known as percutaneous discectomy. So nucleoplasty also known as percutaneous discectomy. Nucleoplasty means there is a removing the tissue from the disc and to relieve the pressure on the affected nerve. So in the nucleoplasty, there is a affected tissue can be removed from the disc. So the tissue is affected by the herniation. So the tissue is removed from the disc, and by this we can relieve the pressure over the affected nerve. So it is about the nucleoplasty. Next one is nursing management. So in the nursing management, first patient become flat in bed for 12 to 24 hours. So the patient should be in the strict bed rest. So continuously the patient should lie on the flat position. So the patient should lie on the flat on the bed for 12 to 24 hours, and there is a monitor the hematoma. So after the surgery the patient may have the bleeding at the surgical site. So the nurse has to be assessed for the any bleeding is present or not at the surgical site, and the nurse has to be assessed. And next one is administer post-operative medication. So what are the medications has prescribed by the doctor? So the nurse has to be administer the medications post-operatively at the correct time. Next one is assess the mobility of the patient. So there is a mobility is present or not, the nurse has to be assessed. So the patient is able to moving the spinal or not, the nurse has to be assist, and the patient is instructed to turn the body instead of the neck when looking from side to side. So by looking side to side, the nurse has to be advised to the patient only use the body and should not turn the neck, and the body has to be turned instead of moving the neck. And next one is cervical collar is usually worn. So cervical collar, it can be supports the neck. It is like a belt, neck belt, and it can be supports to the neck, and it should be used by the patient. So the nurse has to be advised to the patient how the cervical collar is used, and the nurse has to be advised to the patient. And next one is patient are assisted during the position changes. So continuous lying on the flat position, the patient may have the bed sore and the discomfort. So because of this, the nurse has to be advised to the patient about the to change the position according to the patient condition. So it is about the nursing management for the herniated spinal disc herniation.